Hey, it's Matt. Welcome to my YouTube channel. There are many like it, but this one's mine. Yeah. So today we're talking about Stone Temple Pilots and the song Interstate Love Song, which gotta go back, way back to when I was first learning to play guitar. In my youth, I always wanted to be a guitar player because all the cool kids were doing it. My folks stuck me on the piano, which, looking back, I'd have been just as good served sticking on the piano as probably better had I just stuck with piano than switching to guitar. But I wanted to be a guitar player, and it's like once you hit adulthood and you can do what you want to do, you decide to play guitar. So I was, I think, early 20s, maybe 21, 22. And STP was hitting their prime right around, the years 94, 95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. And was taking guitar lessons up in Racine. I can call them guitar lessons roughly because I wasn't really interested in learning the fundamentals, which I think frustrated my teacher to no end because I just wanted to learn how to play some songs. That's what I wanted to do. Back in the day when I wanted to, I thought about playing guitar and I first started wanting to play guitar. We looked at some Queen stuff and, Brian May was like, I was like, too much, too complicated. I'll never be able to do this. So I almost quit for that. And then, some more pop stuff, sensibility stuff came along that was easier to play. That was actually, at the time was pretty cool. Stuff like Oasis, which I'm a huge fan of, and the Gin Blossoms from the United States here. Hootie and the Blowfish. A lot of pop songs that had, fairly easy chord progressions and stuff that I could pick up the guitar and play and feel relatively good about myself. Not like a total scrub, which some might say I still am, which I might still say I still am. Anyway. Today's t-shirt's the Tone Up Motorcycles. I ordered a part. Actually, it was a cowl from my Triumph Bonneville back in the day, and the guys at Tone Up Motorcycles were kind enough to throw in the t-shirt, so that's today's shirt. Anyway, back to STP. So here I am in the early, mid-90s learning these pop songs that I can play, and Interstate Love Song was the first STP song that I really wanted to dive into, which is off of the second album. The first album was great. The second album was great. The third album was great. Fourth album was great. So they had a banger of a career on those first four albums, but Interstate Love Song was the first one that I actually tried to learn, and it was one of those songs that almost made me put down the guitar because it sounds poppy and it sounds cool and it sounds easy, but once you actually try to do it and you see the chords that they're playing, it's like, oh my God. And it's one of those things that, even now I look back on, now that I know a little bit more from seeing stuff and just from playing the instrument that, there's some chords in that song that are just, still, I've been working on this thing for a couple of weeks now, just because, like I said, I started to work on it when I was just learning to play guitar. So I had some of the stuff in my head from lessons, but I'd forgotten big chunks of it. The first thing I wanted to learn was that, the riff, and I kept falling into the other song. I kept falling into Plush. That one was that one. And I knew that the riff for Interstate Love Song was somewhere in that area, but I couldn't for the life of me remember where it was. There's a bend on the second string, half bend, while you're hitting the first note. Something like that. These strings on this guitar are, I mentioned before, pre-COVID, haven't been changed, and that bend on an acoustic guitar with rusty strings at one of the harder places that you can bend. It's easier to bend up here. So I'm way down here. It hurts like hell. Anyway, finally figured the riff back out. The bend while you're hitting the open E. So anyway, I got to the little part after there, and I knew it was an E, and I knew it was like a, but then that wasn't right. So I had to cheat. I had to get on the internet and find what people were doing. So it's E into this chord, I think. So you're sliding your E form up and spacing it out a little bit back to an E. But in videos I've watched of them actually playing it, I noticed that he was actually going somewhere up here. And some of the videos I watched, it was like guys were doing this and calling it right. And I was like, something's wrong there. I mean, I'm not a great guitar player by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not. And I hear this note. This note here. And I'm like, right away, my ears were like, something's wrong there. Something's wrong there. So I pull up another video, and the guy plays that section of the song in the exact same note. Now I'm going a little crazy because I don't hear that at all. I'm like, what the hell? Why is this note there? I mean, I know my hearing is going to shit, but where is this note coming from in these two guys' tutorial? Because I don't hear it. And so I went back and listened to the actual track, and I don't hear that note. And I tried watching Rick Beato's What Makes a Song Great video, and he does a good job breaking the song down, and there's pieces in there but that at the moment was the part that I was stuck on. And he just kind of blasts through it, and I see that his hands are actually going up here, but I'm not sure what he's playing because he goes by it so fast. And like I said, a couple of his tutorials just had a totally bunk. And I'm like, not right. So I'm like, well, what the hell? 2 or 3 different tutorials with the same chord in all 3 of them. And I'm like, so I dug and dug and dug and dug and dug. And finally stumbled upon a couple of videos where the people actually get that chord right. And it turns out that that chord is actually, it's just an E chord, which I remember when I was taking lessons, my guitar teacher at the time had me mapping out all the different forms and shapes of each chord as you went up the neck. And I forgot most of them. I mean, I can tell you that there's an E here and there's an E here. But then I remembered, I'm like, wait a minute, there was an E kind of like this. And I'm like, I bet you that's what he's doing. And sure enough, one of the videos that I watched showed that it's an E form chord here. So it's hard to do because I haven't done it so long. Nope. Yeah. Too slow and too crazy. So if I was playing it out or playing it to record it, I would just either go back to my normal E or up to this E if I want a different voicing, rather than trying to finagle my fingers back into that. I mean, with enough practice, sure, you can do it. But that's not the gist of it. The rest of the song, in the verses, there's this... Best way I saw it was described in a video where the guy does just the bass line. He walks down from waiting on a Sunday afternoon for what I read between the lines. But anyway, I think when I learned it, my guitar teacher taught me power chords just because that's all I really knew, that and open chords. And I pulled it up again, and I remembered seeing some of these chords that they were playing, and I was like, holy crap. And they are weird chords. So yeah, you're basically walking that bass line down, but you're doing these weird forms that are like, I don't even know how to describe them, kind of keeping your... So... major kudos to Stone Temple Pilots. Robert DeLeo, I think, was probably the primary songwriter on that one. Dude's a phenomenal musician, phenomenal bass player. Really had no clue until, diving into STP a little deeper, and you can find some videos on YouTube of him playing the bass line on that song, and it's beautiful. And they were head and shoulders, I think. The talent level in that band was Scott Weiland was an amazing frontman who left us too soon. 90s, we lost a lot of prominent stars from the 90s, especially musicians. Chris Cornell from, I think it was Soundgarden's gone, and there were a couple others, big names. But Scott Weiland was very talented, very charismatic frontman, and they had the musicianship to back it up. And so anyway, that's my Stone Temple Pilots story for today. Interstate Love Song. There are a couple tutorials on the internet that show you the correct way to play it, and there's a couple that pull them up, you're going to hear that chord that I described, and you're going to be like, where's that note coming from? Where is that note coming from? They're not right. So I'm still trying to learn the verses, those weird chords that are walking down before you hit that E into the A sus. There are a bunch of major, minor sus chords, which I haven't figured out how to play yet, but I'm still working on it. And Lady Picture Show by STP is also a great song. Very Beatlesy, very popsy. Anyway, that's all I got today. I'm going to be talking about some World of Warship stuff tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about some DDO stuff the day after. Sorry I've been missing, but just wrapped up in stuff. But the Stone Temple Pilots rabbit hole was one of the distracting things when you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on with the song, and it turns out to be way more complicated than you actually anticipated. Anyhow, guys, have a good evening, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.